Mississippi State women's tennis off and running, off to a 2-0 start to the year. Things going good over there. So we thought it'd be time to bring on head coach Chris Hooshyar, assistant coach Taylor Russo. Welcome back to the show, guys. Things going good for y'all over there so far?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Weather could be a little bit better for us. We've had our match against ODU got cancelled. We tried really hard to reschedule it, but it just wasn't possible with both of our schedules. And then Memphis got cancelled this weekend, which we're trying really hard to reschedule that one. But slow, but hopefully it'll get better.
Well, it was a huge fall for you guys, and that's obviously where the tennis season starts. It's a little different in the fall. It's a lot of individual play and stuff, but your doubles was really impressive in the fall with Charlotte and Gianna as well. I think right now they're ranked number 7 in the country and went to nationals last year in the fall. How awesome was that to see some results right off the bat in the fall and have some success early?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like you can talk about all these different things, but at the end of the day, winning and experiencing championships is invaluable. Like and for them to do that, considering Charlotte was coming back from some of her injuries, and that was her first tournament of the fall, and G is in the same boat. I think she only played 2 tournaments in the fall as well. So for them to qualify and then have a good opportunity. I think they played the Wisconsin team that at the time was number 1 in the country, and to win that match was huge. And then to get that experience of winning a big match and then following it up the next day. We didn't follow it up the next day, which was disappointing, but it's a great learning opportunity for him.
Yeah, and Taylor, I want to ask you too, because obviously the last several years I've kind of been the women's tennis SID, and you've brought in a whole new crop of players since I was around every day. So I wanted to get you. I mean, you have a big part in recruiting. Chris obviously does. Noah Tippin, the other assistant coach, obviously does as well. Tell me about some of these new players that you've brought in this year, because I mean Charlotte is one of those, and she's already having results. But we just had SEC Freshman of the Week, which is obviously a new player. So tell me about some of these new players you brought in.
Yeah, these new players bring just such a fresh perspective and new fiery intensity to this team, and they're awesome. I mean, Thessie earning SEC Freshman of the Week, I don't think she understood what that was at first. I think once we explained it, though, she was really, really excited. I think that's just a testament to how hard she's worked over the semester, and I think it just helps everyone kind of come together. I think everyone coming in, Charlotte coming in, Thessie, we have Mia from South Carolina. All 3 of them have been great additions to this team. I think they all each bring individual aspects to the team, and honestly, they're awesome.
Chris, year 3 here in this program, and I guess this is really the first year where the majority of your roster are, your signees, your people, so to speak, and you come in. Obviously, there's none. I think last year maybe you had 3. Now it's kind of the program is finally starting to, I guess, fully be in your vision a little bit. Just how do you feel about the growth and about finally kind of having a group that's, for the most part, people you brought in?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think year 1 when we came in, one of the biggest battles that we have had in the women's tennis world is, for no other way to put it, the stigma and the reputation of Mississippi State women's tennis nationally and internationally wasn't where Mississippi State deserves. And we talked to all of the recruits that we've spoken to. It's like, you look at all of our spots and we're successful. Women's tennis, recently before we got hit, they had years of success. So for whatever the stigma was that we came across, it's been a lot of work has gone into it in changing that. Year 1, we wanted to. We didn't bring anybody in. We kept the girls that we had, and we wanted to kind of create our own environment and our own processes in house before we went to bring people in. And then last year, we brought in G, Caro, Kiara, and Emzy, and those 4 brought in a good energy about them. All good kids. And then this year we've added 4 players. we just talked about Charlotte, and we talked about Thessie and Mia, but we also brought in Noemi as well this January. So it's a vision. Like when we came here, and one of the things Zach and I talked about, which was cool, is it's a blank board. And I'm lucky enough that I'm in one of the sports where I actually have a reasonable amount of my time to grow something, and I'm lucky for that, and I'm grateful for that. We're not content with that, and we don't settle with it. But it's nice to have a plan and to be able to follow it. And, that blank whiteboard, if you want to call it, we're working towards it. I have my little sticky notes, and it's kind of funny. We said, okay, we'll have a new player here, we'll have a new player here, we'll have a new player here. I found it in my office just the other day from 2 years ago, and it's exactly what we've wanted now. So it's exciting. Yeah.
Well, Taylor, I've talked to a lot of coaches in the past too, where in the recruiting process, it's about stacking recruiting classes year after year. As you're out on the road, overseas recruiting a lot of times, I know Noah does a lot of that too. How do you stack those classes to make sure that every year you're kind of bringing in an influx of talent and improving the talent level each and every year as you kind of build this program?
Yeah, I think we're constantly doing research. I think Noah and Chris do such a great job of bringing in recruits. I think they really do the research. I think it takes a lot. I think all three of us were very relationship based when it comes to recruiting. I think we care more about the person, and obviously you care about their tennis, but I think we see them as people first, and that's really important to us. So I think when we're looking for recruits, like, yes, are we looking for really good tennis players, but we're also looking for people that are going to fit our program, and we're not going to settle just because they're really good tennis players. We want to make sure that they fit what we're building and not bring in someone that's going to set us back. And so talent is really important, but I think bringing in the right person is also just as important as all of that.
And I would think that part of that is just the grind of this league that y'all are in. I mean, this is, I guess, for either one of you or both of you. Someone that played in the league, someone that's been coaching in the league for a long time. This league is a beast. I mean, you look at the rankings, and I think it's just SEC team. For all the pub that football and baseball and softball, everybody. Women's tennis, there's a whole lot of ranked teams when you look at that top, and you got to play them all. I would think makeup is a big piece of knowing, hey, you're going to have some tough nights, and you got to be able to bounce back and things. How much does, I guess, two-part question. One, just the beast of the league that you're in, how tough is that? But two, how important is that makeup to be right, to know that probably not every match is going to go your way?
Yeah, I mean, going back 12, 13 years and going back when recruited T it's a challenge, which that's what we're all in it for. You don't have to worry about, let's say we get the program where we want it to get to, and you want to chase national championships. You don't have to worry about national championship, because if you can win the SEC or you're in the top part of the SEC, you're national championship caliber. So then you just need a little bit of luck. The way you get luck is you do every controllable right, you work your ass off, you do all of the above. And then if you get a little bit of luck on that because you've created it, then maybe you can get something pretty special. But yeah, it's exciting. I think the rankings came out just the other day, and I think it was like 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 in the SEC. And that's great. That's at the top. But then you have the next 6, 7 teams that are all top 25, and it's like you want to play the best because you want to be the best. And I think that's something that we use in the recruiting, especially right now. It's like, we have Charlotte in from Texas, and we have Nono in from Florida. They've experienced those expectations. They've experienced what it takes, and then you add in our freshmen from last year in, G and Caro and Kiara's a sophomore, and, that's all that they know. So when you've looked at our schedule last year and the previous 2 years, we had decent non-con records because we were trying to build certain things. But now moving forwards, this year was supposed to be that step up. Well, next year we're targeting to bring an NCAA tournament team every weekend.
Yeah.
Because that's what they have to know. And if they don't know that, by the time the SEC comes, they're going to get slapped in the mouth real fast, and then we're in trouble. So, yeah, I love it, and I think it's one of the good things about only coaching in the SEC and being used to that is if you can be in it, why would you want to be anywhere else?
Yeah.
Chris, you were the first coaching hire that Zach Selman made, and you've been able. You hired your staff after that, and you've been able to maintain that staff throughout the first 3 years that you've been here. How much has that continuity helped? That the three of y'all. I mean, obviously you coached T, you recruited T, so the two of y'all had a relationship prior to that. But adding Noah to the mix as well, and y'all kind of all figuring out how this thing works as you build this program. How key has that continuity been?
It's been really important. Full transparency, I remember my first year, you guys would ask me, how's it being a first-time head coach? And you don't really know the answer. You're just trying to pull something from somewhere. And then the second year, you kind of get a little bit more of an understanding. But I think realistically, all of us were for somewhat learning on the job. And I think what helps is when you have a staff that know your weaknesses, but also know your strengths, and you kind of balance each other out, it's been really, really important. And, playing going from the role of assistant coach to then head coach, your relationship does change with the players. It's probably my least favorite part of the job, because when you're the assistant coach, you're not making the decisions in the eyes of the players, and you're solely just developing, and that's is and has always been my favorite thing to do. But at the end of the day, you could work with a player, whatnot, and then don't play him on the weekend. They're going to see it as I did everything Coach wanted me to do. He said I was doing this really well. We worked on this and it was really well, but he still didn't play me. That you're just not going to get rid of. So that was probably the hardest thing that I'm trying to get over. But by having T, who I trust so much, obviously, and knowing who she is and her relationship with the girls, I know now that I don't necessarily have to worry about that, because I know that she will fit into that role that I used to be in when I was the assistant. And then T is a little, say, tough is the wrong word, because that's going to make her sound like she's mean. She's not mean. But T and I are very similar. And then what Noah does is his empathy levels and his way to connect with the girls on a calmer level then clears that up. So yeah, the continuity of having the staff has been really good, and then being able to draw that picture together is very good, and lucky.
Taylor, how much have you seen Chris grow? Because obviously you have a different lens to kind of look at him, and just having played for him, you were recruited by him, and then now you've worked with him over the last 3 years. And during that growth process, as he made the transition from being an assistant coach to sitting in that head chair, it's obviously different. But how much have you seen him grow and kind of learn over the last 3 years?
I mean, I think it's crazy to think that Chris was my age when I was playing. So I think I have like a whole new perspective of like what he was doing as an assistant when I was playing, because now I'm in the same boat with the girls now. So I think I have a new appreciation of what Chris actually dealt with as an assistant. And I laugh because I hear all the things that the girls do that I'm like, you have to deal with that? It's really cool though, because I think the first year is kind of like, you don't really know what you don't know. And so I think like we were all learning. I mean, I was only my second year in coaching. And I think like knowing Chris, it made it a lot easier because I could ask him like a lot of things that helped. But I think now 2 years later, what he said the first year, I'm like, I get it now. I think now it's like we're kind of a little bit more of a groove, like recruiting's getting there, like on court, like we kind of know exactly what we're doing, and it's not like we have no idea what's going on. I think Chris has really grown because I think the first year, like I said, it's just you have no idea what's going on. I think after that, it's now, okay, you're developing, you are putting your roots in, you're developing that culture. I think Chris has done a really good job of still creating that culture, even though he feels like he's in a different role. I still feel like he has such a good relationship with all of the girls as much as he can, because that's exactly what he's really good at. And I don't think he should ever have to change, and nor do I think he actually has changed that much. I think even if he feels that way, because I do see how much the girls trust him too, I think it just adds now that me and Noah especially can help kind of facilitate that to be like, Chris isn't as scary as you think he is. Like, if you know him, like, he's really not scary. I think, yes, is he making the decisions in their eyes? But I think he's still the same person he was when I was playing in as an assistant. So it's been the same, but he has grown a lot and learned a lot, and we all have, though.
I think another good point to put out is, though, when we talk, and again, a bunch of other programs all over the country will use things as gimmicks and all of the above. But when we talk about the support system here amongst the coaches, you know, in the summer, when it's a little bit quieter, you may run into somebody at a coffee shop or something, or you can always pick up one of the phones to call another coach who's been through it. And I think, you know, not to name all of the coaches, but there's not a coach on campus that isn't open to picking up the phone or meeting with somebody to learn from. You know, I live next door to Coach Ricketts. She was just at the house the other day. We talk about little things, and, you know, one of the things Coach Ricketts said is the best thing that's helped her is find people who suit here. You know, and she said that is really important. So taking that into, you know, I don't think it's a secret, but I love how hard Coach Jans's teams play. I just love it. And getting to see that aspect, to Coach Purcell, to seeing the challenges that Coach Levy goes through in building, and seeing that, and the work ethic and all of the above. And it's unique. It is truly unique how many relationships all the coaches have together and how they support each other. And I know a bunch of other schools in the country will say that. But it's real here, and I think that they have been nothing but helpful to us. And then obviously got to give Matt a shout out since we're next door to him. But, you know, he's achieved a bunch of stuff here, and his program is phenomenal, and he does it the right way. And, you know, again, it's just lucky to have that support.
Given all that, and y'all talk about y'all's own growth as coaches and the development of this roster, and I guess you kind of hit on some of this earlier, but what do you kind of feel like some of the goals are here in year three? What are you guys kind of shooting for this year?
To realize we belong. I mean, that's it. You know, it's like we came in with a slogan, and I'm not going to say the coach name because I'll probably butcher it, but it was first you lose big, then you lose small, then you win small, then you win big. And we're kind of in the middle bit of that, but it's realizing, like, no, we belong. And that might not come out on the score sheet, but we can't control the win or the loss, but we can control how hard we go out there. We can control how hard we prep for it. We can control how long we stay in the fight for. All of those things is what this year is about, and it's sending a message. It's sending a message to the rest of the SEC. It's sending a message to the rest of the country, like, okay, we ain't sleeping on Mississippi State no more. Like, if we sleep on them, that's on us. They're going to bite us in the ass. And that's what we have to be ready for now when we play against all the teams in the top 10, top 16. You know, rankings are out there for who will win the most times out of 10 times, right? We need to make sure that if one of those teams doesn't show up and aren't in the right place, that we can bite them in the ass. And then if we do, great. If not, it's going to go over to next year. Because when they see us on the schedule, it's not going to be like, okay, yeah, we're good here. We're going to be like, oh, tough one here. Like, that's what this year is all about.
Chris, you gave me a phone call this morning, and you had some really exciting news that you shared with me. And I was going to give you the opportunity publicly to share that news. In getting to know you over the last few years, you are the most redneck British man I've ever met. You're usually in cowboy boots. You love deer hunting. You fit in perfectly in the culture here in Starkville.
Yeah.
But you're about to be an American.
Well, not yet, but if anyone's hearing it and want to help me out, that'd be great. Yes, starting the citizenship process. You know, had a little bit of Toby Keith on in the background as we talked about this morning.
Yeah.
A little bit worried about the test. I got to study a little bit for it.
Well, we're not good with tests, so if you need our
ask him what he's going to do if he doesn't know the answer to a question.
See?
Well, no, it was like T came up with the idea. It's a bit of a smart ass, but it was, if I don't know the question, just start singing a Toby Keith lyric. You know, we got Red Solo Cup. We got quite a few. So Yeah,
proud to be an American.
we started that this morning, and it's my fault for not doing it sooner. But it's just one of those, you just keep going and this and this and this. But yeah, so this would be really awkward if I get denied. Like after now, it's gonna be really awkward if I come in here next year and it's like, hey, so how did it go? Well, yeah, I failed the test.
Well, I don't know how it works, and I don't know who grades those things, but I would feel like, when you're in elementary school or whatever, if you don't do well, some teachers grade on a curve and round you up.
I'll
I
need
think
that.
if you start singing Toby Keith and Red, White, and Blue and all
Yeah.
that, that ought to give you a few bonus points.
Yeah, no, I will. But yeah, no, and yeah, Logan is right. I do like it here in the South, and
He fits in so well. Like if he didn't have the accent, you would
wouldn't
think he was
know.
from here.
yeah, no, I do like it. I had a really good mentor of mine, Greg Williams, who is a retired coach now, and he to me is one of the greatest coaches of all time. And it was during COVID. I would not ever, if he called me up and said, hey, let's meet, I would go. And he called me up one morning and he says, hey, have you ever been duck hunting? I said, no, I've never shot a gun. He says, okay, well, you're going to come with me. So he picks me up at like 4:30 in the morning, and we go sit in the side of this little, it's not really a river. To me, it's a river, but to you guys, it's probably a creek. And we sat there, and it was the coolest thing. Like, we had deer crossing, and then we finally had the wood ducks land, which I screwed up because I moved, and they took off. But then it was the only thing that made me sit still. So, yeah, I do like it a lot. My father-in-law's big into it growing up, being a country boy himself, and yeah, now my little girl's onto it as well. She got her first deer this
Nice deer
December.
too.
Better than a dad's ever got. Yeah.
I get deer pictures from Chris when he gets one on his camera, he'll send it to me and stuff, and we'll trade deer hunting stories. And Chris may be the number 2 deer hunter that I know in my life. My dad would be number 1 because he's in the woods every day during hunting season. But Chris is in the woods as much as he can, as much as tennis will allow him to. He's in the woods as well.
It is. I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, my phone works, I'm working, but it's the only place that will keep me still, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, my daughter gives me a hard time now. If it's not a trophy book, then it's terrible according to her. So she needs to get pegged down a little bit.
You fit right in, man. Fit right in maroon and white. Fit right in the red, white, and blue. You got this tennis program on a trajectory that hopefully is not long till you fit just right in some gold somewhere along the line. So you guys keep working, keep striving forward. We appreciate y'all for joining us today. Coach Hooshyar, Taylor Russo of Mississippi State Women's Tennis.
Miss Noah Tippin, we just didn't have room for him on the couch.
That's right. On 3 mics and the couch is full.
Well, that's what I was worried about. You kept saying how I've grown and all that. I didn't know if you meant like his experience or my waist size. But both of them are growing, so I need to get on it.
Oh, man, we do appreciate y'all joining us, and best of luck going forward. Hopefully the weather cooperates so things can work out for y'all a little bit better. But keep rolling over there, and always glad to have y'all on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for all y'all for joining us. Till next time, Hail State.
Hail
Go
State.
State.